I'm gonna just turn this just a hair. Hopefully that was enough. Let's reline that back up with that. Line up. You know, I bought some paint for this, but I'd rather, if all this paint comes off with just some brake cleaner, leave it bare metal. These Allen wrenches strong enough to hold this as I try to turn this, or is this not a good idea? Yeah, that works. I'm going to do this one cam at a time. Pull that off. The camshaft seal looks good. I'm so tempted to leave it, but it might be on there another 100,000 miles, so for removing the seals, I got this shaft seal type puller from Lyle. Let's see how this works. Had good reviews, and apparently it's less risk scratching the shaft or the bore. I don't want to lose this extra grabber thing. Grabs the lip of the seal. I don't know if you can see that. It's this right there. You stick it in and make it grab on the lip of the seal, and then this is your fulcrum. And you just lever the seal out rather than using a small screwdriver or a pick or a seal puller, which I've never actually used. I've only used screwdrivers and picks. And yes, I have damaged them before. Do not want to lose this key. I'm going to get this under. The hardest part about this whole process is getting the tip of the tool under the seal. Doing this right? Okay, I think I got this under the lip of the seal. Move this fulcrum around here. Give it a little push. And out she comes. That does work. And even though there were no leaks, it does feel pretty stiff. A little carb cleaner on a rag. Okay, we got our seal. The stuff with the writing goes out. This inside bit, it's all hollow, goes in. I'm going to put a little bit of heavy oil. So this was like 10W40 or 40 weight motorcycle oil, and then I'll put Lucas in it. Let me see if I can get it to come out. Hold on. Some people put grease, some people put oil. I'm just going to do that on the inside of the seal. Just the inside. You can see that's Lucas. It's all gooey like honey. I'm actually going to recommend against what I'm doing here. I did this because the most recent video I watched showed a Toyota tech doing this on the outside of his seals, but the seals are made so that you don't need to do this, and it'll actually make it next to impossible to get these seals out again, and then to clean the bore, that's a whole nother matter entirely. This sealant is very resilient. So, I mean, just like super thin. Smooth that around there. Just paint it on there. Then slide this over the shaft. Be careful it doesn't pop out backward. Use a socket. Push it all the way in. That felt like it seated good. Make sure I didn't get any seal packing where I don't want it. Yep, that's pretty ugly. Now we can go ahead and put this pulley back on. Make sure we got it facing the right way. We want to be able to see that up right there. Put our key in first. It does have a slope to it, and you'll see the slope on the shaft up right there. Bolt back on. So this gets tightened to 27 foot-pounds. moving on to the next one. Break this loose. Move that. Make sure we don't lose the key. Push our seal puller in under that lip. Hardest part is getting it under that lip. Almost want to hammer it in there. There it goes. I think. Wait, did it go? Yes. So, go in at an angle, give it a little wiggle, and then it should pop right through. Get it to where we can actually lever it on something. There it is. And you can see what I was doing was angling it in like this, pushing like this, and then it popped inside like that, and then turn the fulcrum around and pull it straight out. And get the other seal ready. Just push that on. Carefully. Where's my socket? Just push that all the way in there. Is that nice and flat? Clean up the outside again. Key back in place. Sprocket back on, up to the outside. Oop. Oh no, key just popped out. Thankfully it caught right there. There we go. Bolt back on. And that one's done. I'll just do the crank seal. You have to take this sensor off, part of the crankshaft position sensor, I think. A couple of 10mm bolts, we'll pull that off, and then we should be able to remove this. Pull this off. Kind of let that hang down there. Sprocket should come off. There we go. There's a key up here too, we don't want to lose. That seal looks good as well. It's wet with antifreeze right now, or coolant right now, but pretty good. I want to get coolant inside there. Put this in here. I think we're getting there. Maybe not. Well, that just broke. Let's go change this out. Can't believe I broke that already. All right, I swapped that out for the spare. I'm gonna keep pushing in as I turn it down, hopefully. Come on, we're gonna make it, maybe? All right, yeah, let's try that. Yeah, come on there. A little more leverage. There it goes. And just grab the back of that with this. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right. Let's push it in place, so way around with this Allen wrench. Yeah, I think that's good. Now this key, is this perfectly square? No, it's rectangular. So short side goes up and down. Then, guys, let me go clean this off. And I actually rubbed a little Lucas around inside this, just so it doesn't rust on. There we go. All right, there we go. Now the key is in place. Things locked in. Now we'll wipe. I don't want the timing belt to get oil and grease on it. Actually, let me go ahead and spray that with a little brake cleaner. Spray some electronics cleaner on this. This has a little notch it sticks in right there. That, this little grommet holds that in place over here. And then this screw goes through this sensor and this at the same time. And of course, one's long and one's short, but this will be easy to remember because this has to go through both of those. I'll do the short one first. There. Not sure about the torque on these. Probably about the same as the water pump. I've set this to about 8.5 pounds. And I'm happy with that. Brake cleaner in my eyes. I was actually wearing glasses when that brake cleaner got in my eyes too. Just went around. So, not enough light. Okay, it's another Saturday, and it's apparently a little bit misty and possibly rainy today. So, we're gonna have to put up a canopy over this to work on it. Okay, so it says align the crankshaft sprocket, the key basically, with the pointer on the oil pump. And in the pictures it shows like a little tick mark. That is definitely a line. And when we took this apart, this is exactly where the crankshaft was. So I think this faint little line right there is supposed to be lined up with that pointer. I'll show you what the manual looks like. So the arrow is supposed to be lined up with that line, and the crankshaft key is supposed to be relatively upright. So I think we're good. Now before I put the timing belts on, I need to put the new tensioner pulley on. So here is the new tensioner pulley, formerly sold as Koyo. There it is. So this is where the spring connects. This is where it pivots. And the big bolt, of course, goes in the middle and it moves like that. And the kit comes with a new spring. So here we are underneath again. This is where the big bolt of that tensioner pulley goes. You can see up here, a little knob right there is where the spring connects, and this is where the pulley pivots. And put the bolt in there, and get it started. See if I can even feel it. There it is, right over there. Right there, so that it can pivot. And we'll grab that spring and connect it. Now remember, the little end of the spring, the little hook, big hook, little hook, goes on the pulley, little hook, from behind. So there it is on the pulley from behind. And then the big hook goes over that stud right there. Which is actually kind of weird because now that's rubbing. So it seems like you would rub less if it went the other way. I'll see, does it rub less this way? Now this is not what the picture shows. Look at it from the front. hook the big loop up there in the opposite direction. Now does it rub? No, now it doesn't touch anything that way. That makes more sense. Yep, now that spring has free movement in there. So the belt comes with some directions. So old belt in my right hand, new belt in my left hand. I mean, really not a whole lot of difference. They both feel about the same. This one does look a little shinier from where it's been rubbed, but I'm sure it won't take long for this one to look like that. I mean, this Honda belt still looks almost brand new to me. Start the timing belt on the crank sprocket and install the flat side of the belt over the top of the tensioner and the toothed portion around the bottom of the water pump sprocket. Then exhaust cam, then intake cam. Yeah, all right. Now, what do? We just need to expose these Allen wrenches here, take them out so that we can rotate this. There we go. We're going to rotate the intake cam sprocket in a clockwise motion to take all the slack out of the belt on this front side. So that took it out. Now we're going to tighten the timing belt tensioner bolt with a 14mm socket to 40 foot-pounds. There we go. Install the crankshaft sprocket guide washer, which the rounded side, convex side goes in, concave side goes to the outside, slides over there. And now we install the lower and upper timing covers. It's sweating right now because I just sprayed it with brake cleaner and it's evaporating so quickly it's causing the timing cover to get cold, and therefore the water in the air is condensing on it. All right, it's sticking on something. I've got to go up and see what's going on. Oh, I need to jam it because the top gasket is still stuck on the bracket, engine bracket up there. Yeah, I think that's okay. I do have a little bracket that was with the timing cover bolts that I need to figure out where it goes. It must have a reason, right? The new alternator says make sure your battery is fully charged before using it, otherwise you could damage it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the battery charger on the battery so that by the time we're finished with all this, it will be fully charged and ready to go. So I had to go back and watch the old footage of taking this off. Apparently this goes like this on this upper right part of the timing cover. And I think that clip holds the alternator cable on. That's probably good enough before we get out the torque wrench. Don't want to get it too tight or I might not be able to align the other bolts. Screw it in with that. So this is the one in the hole in the middle of the lower timing cover. Right there. Take my fingers off so you can see. Right there. Just got one right here, one there, and one there. So we'll tighten these to just over 7 foot-pounds. I don't know if I'm even going to be able to feel this click. Ah, yeah, there we go. Perfect. Last one is in this hole. There we go. Now we just need to put the pulley back on. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do the upper timing cover. These kind of lock into place. It has like a little lip right here. It locks in here. Also has these grooves that slot into ridges. So we'll line those up and then we'll slip it into place. Hopefully that's right. Yeah, I think that locked in nicely. And we use these 2 spacer bolts or bushing bolts, or I'm sure they have a name. If you would, let me know in the comments. There we go. Now we'll install the crankshaft pulley, starting with the key. This key appears to be rectangular, but it doesn't have any slope sides on it like the ones on the camshaft sprockets. So short side like that. Yeah, there's no slot in the washer for this to go through, so the guide washer will actually keep the key from going too far in. Line up. Oh, wrong side. Obviously, the big hexagon goes out because that's where the crankshaft tool would go. There we go. And here's the bolt, which we tighten to 130 foot-pounds. So we have our 6.19 with our giant extension. I wish I knew exactly how long this was. It looks like it's probably 20 inches. And we'll put that on our torque wrench. I need to get my jack stand and my crankshaft holding tool. So, have the crankshaft holding tool hooked onto a breaker bar that's just wedged against the ground. And I have my 20-ish inch extension hooked to my torque wrench on the jack stand. And there we go. Now we need to rotate the crankshaft 5 or 6 times counterclockwise to seat the timing belt. Six times. Now we're going to remove this rubber plug on the side of the lower timing cover. Position the number 1 piston to top dead center, which means we're probably going to have to go another rotation here. Getting close. Yeah,
and of course I get in the way at the exact moment you want to see.
Oh no, I don't know which mark is which. So the one by itself, not these 3, but this one right there should be top dead center mark. And it's supposed to be painted white, but apparently rubbed off. Now we'll remove that plug. And that gives us access to the tensioner pulley bolt. We're going to loosen it by half a turn. It's only 40 pounds, right? There we go. Let's see if that gives us some to work with. Yeah. I don't know if half the turn is going to loosen the thing up enough. There we go. I just loosened it until I could feel slack. Now we rotate the crankshaft counterclockwise, 3 teeth on the camshaft pulley. So we're going to be rotating the crankshaft, but we're going to be watching the teeth on the camshafts, counterclockwise. 3 teeth on the camshaft. So 1 tooth, 2 tooth, 3 tooth. And now we go back and retighten the tensioner pulley bolt. There we go. 40 pounds. That is nice and tight. Now I'll put the rubber cover back on there. Perfect. All right, there's top dead center. However, those pulleys, those camshaft pulleys, don't appear to be in the same place. Close. I need to go back and review the footage and see how many teeth are between the 2 notches. So I need to know if there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 between the 2 points is right, or should this go 1 more? Well, I know what I can do. I can get the old belt and look at it. So here we have the old belt. Here are the green marks. And oh no, we're off a tooth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I need 1 more tooth between them. And it looks like it's the intake cam that has to rotate a little bit. I should have checked this before I put all this stuff back on. We'll just assume this one is right. We'll put a mark on top too. And we'll assume this one needs to go 1 tooth. And a mark on top. Okay, before I even get started on that, let's double check our belt marks. Here we go. I'm glad they used a better paint pen than I'm using. Just want to make sure that these are in the same spots on the belt. So yes, double check the teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, so that's good. Let me rotate this back first. All right, tensioner is loose. This back just far enough to hold on to one of these with a wrench, because what we're going to have to do is pull the pulley off and then turn the intake cam clockwise 1 tooth to get the pulley back on since it's keyed. Super careful not to scratch anything in here. All right, so that's ready. Get this off. Hopefully it won't go slack around anything underneath there. Try to keep some tension on it. Try not to lose our key. All right. Now I'm gonna just turn this just a hair. Hopefully that was enough. See if we line that back up with that. If the key will line up. And it did. Key lined up. Sounds like the chickens are excited about that too. You excited, Biscuit? Does that mean you laid an egg? Yes! All right, nice and warm. Anyway, so that's lined up where it should be. That's lined up where it should be. Go check the foot-pounds on that. 27 foot-pounds. 12 millimeter on it. Keep everything rotating. There we go. Now I'll just go back through. Oh, no. Got very slack, didn't it? Before we mess all this up, make sure these stay where they need to stay. I'm going to turn the crank to tighten everything up. There we go. Everything's tight. Now I'm going to go 3 teeth counterclockwise, which I pretty much just did. Just make sure I feel a lot of tension on it. Yeah, that feels pretty tight. I'm just going to go back and retighten the tensioner pulley bolt to 40 pounds. There we go. Put that cover back on. Now I'm going to turn the crank around one more time and double check everything. So there's top dead center. Everything looks close enough. Actually, here's something I neglected to mention, and this will make you be able to get this lined up much better in the long run. If you look right here, there is a little line right there and right there. I mean, maybe if you're young you can see those, but I'm wearing glasses and I can just barely make those out. And they are pointing directly at each other while that is on top dead center. So now I feel confident that even though this is turned a little to the right, that one's kind of in the center, and these don't look necessarily exactly upright, I feel good that all this is set up right.
As always, thank you for watching. Please comment below, and I hope to see y'all in the next one.